Hey, it's Dr. Karen, and welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest for the week of May 26th, 2025. Today, we're going to be talking about the energetic. Now, in particular, I have been studying quite voraciously human design. And at first, I wasn't that interested in this because I didn't know my time of birth. Of course, that was before I used divine muscle testing and all these other tools of divination that I have now. And so I didn't really get into it. However, I have since learned more because some of my team members have had human design readings and oh, they're the best. And I thought, okay, let me try it out. And even though I didn't know my time of birth, the first practitioner we've had on my Light Warrior radio show, Barbara Ditlow, told me things about myself. She doesn't know me, right? That I was like, wow. That's pretty darn accurate. So then I was like sold. I was like, okay. Now, here's the thing. She couldn't go further because she didn't know my time of birth, and I didn't know my time of birth. And in fact, as of this recording, I just like tried to contact my aunt because my mom said she didn't know my time of birth. They just can't remember. She remembers hers, but not that she would have been awake. But anyway, yeah, my aunt doesn't remember either. So I was guessing now when I was muscle testing, of course, I didn't really have the context of how all the software works to get your human design chart. So I got 8 o'clock, and I figure, well, yeah, 8 p.m. That's what I muscle tested, and so it ends up that I am one of the 5 human designs called the manifesting generator. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, because I'm noticing the uniqueness of each individual. There are patterns, but we are not like boxed in to this like you are like this and there is no veering from that. No, 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 no. How we express our design, if you will, whether you're talking about wealth dynamics, I'm a big fan of that. Whether you're talking about Myers-Briggs, whether you're talking about the 16 personalities or whatever test it is, some will resonate and some will not. But what I love is the patterns that I see in sensitive souls who I'm among. So, for example, as a manifesting generator, I thought that I was a profile number, it's a line number, it's called 1-3. But then when I was, one of my TOLPAKAN level 2 students who's now graduated, Dr. Gina Locke, I said, well, why don't you do a reading for me and you muscle test? Because I don't want to be biased. So you muscle test when you think I was born, right? What time? And when she did, she says, look, I might be biased because I know you, but based on my experience of you, I don't really think you're a 1-3. I think you're a 6-3. 6 is the sage, the wise one, and 3 is the experimenter. And goodness knows, I definitely like to do experimentation. So that did make sense to me. And what I've noticed is that she taught me about open and closed or defined centers, not closed, but defined centers. So there's this body graph chart that we have, and we have like different centers in the body represented loosely on this graph, right? And what was amazing was that, learning that if you have an open center, it means it's not colored in on the graph. You receive and absorb, underline the word absorb the energies of other people and other things, I'll add, and amplify them 70%. Now, that was probably, through divination that number came about. But the fascinating thing is when we have a defined center, it's me, myself, and I. It's our stuff. So in TOLPAKAN healing, we often, for sensitive souls, ask whose stuff is it that you're feeling? Because sometimes people are feeling horrible or they're feeling drained and tired and all this kind of stuff. And then when I go in and I divine muscle test what's going on, it's like 8% their stuff, 92% other stuff. And that could be mass consciousness, that could be their soul destiny partner, it could be a family member, or it could be like Earth. The Earth is your soul destiny partner. Like we've got really interesting answers. Other planets, like water, like it's amazing. So And now makes sense to me that the areas that are undefined in myself, I'll give you an example. So on the body graph chart, there's an area, I'll point to this part because I'm like trying to mirror where it is. Anyway, so it's called the will center. Now, the will center in me is open, which means I can feel everybody else's will. Yay! Now, that's not necessarily bad, and I'm still a student of this. I'm not an expert. So I'm just sharing because it might be relevant to you. So, what Dr. Gina said to me, look, you have an open will center. So, I highly recommend that when you're with someone and you're trying to make a decision, take some time away by yourself to, and then clear or be cognizant that you might be feeling a yes because you're feeling their yes for you to do something or be something or whatever, right? So I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because I can literally be like talking to different people and, they desire this and I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds great, and then somebody else is, I'm like, yeah, that sounds great too, and I'm thinking, I can't possibly do all of this. And so when I'm alone and she says, just sleep on it, like overnight, like out of their energy field, discern what's yours, and then ask if it's a yes or no. So the cool thing is each of us are very unique and there are multiple different, even though there's these 5 main types, there's the manifesting generator, manifestor generator, I'm a combo of the two, projector and reflector. Reflector is very rare, only 1% of the population, and they have no defined centers. Yeah, let's just say that I'm okay with not being a reflector. You can have an amazing life, but you're literally sampling everybody else's energy. You have none of your own. It's like, wow, wow, can't even imagine. Anyway, so I think it's very interesting because there are all these different permutations within each of those, like the profile numbers I briefly talked about, like I'm a 6'3", and then there's all these different moon transits and all this like astrological stuff and these gate numbers and gates. And so it ends up being that even though we have all the energies in our chart, there are some that are dominant and there are certain things that are like our soul purpose, life purpose. And it's so very interesting. So I think that if you're a sensitive soul and you know your birth time is really helpful, it might be helpful for you to check in on your human design and start studying it and see if it resonates with you. I have been studying some of the books by Karen Parker Curry, and then Evelyn Levinson, I believe, is the author of The Empowered Projector. I've been reading that book because I have several very close friends who are and colleagues who are projectors, and I want to make sure that that I'm optimizing my relationship with them. It's also been really, really helpful to understand my husband, who's a generator, much better because I'm a manifesting generator. He's a generator. Manifestors and manifesting generators tend to initiate things. Now, manifestors may or may not finish them because that's not their role. They're there is to initiate these ideas. And then the generators, the workhorses of the planet, 70%, are generators. We're here to actually make it happen. We're here to build it, right? So if you've been following me for quite some time or you're in the light medicine community, you're probably like, how does Dr. Karen get all that stuff done? She's all over the place. Like, wow, she's doing this and this and this. This is crazy town. Like, I'm tired just watching her, right? Yeah, well, that's because I'm a manifesting generator. Generators have this defined sacral area. I feel it in the belly. We get a yes, no very easily. And I do have to wait that, overnight for that will center because it's open. But to get energy directly into our bodies. So that's why healthy manifesting generators are just like Energizer Bunny, and they can push. And maybe that might not be good on the nth degree, but they can push if they want to get things done. Now, the other profiles I'm learning, the projector, the reflector, the manifestor, they don't have that unending supply of energy. They actually get energy from us, the generators. So they have to rest, and they have to rest before they get tired. And they have to go with their flow. So there are things called strategy and authority. Like I said, I'm not teaching it, so there are plenty of really, really cool videos on them. So I'll link the videos below. I made a little playlist for you. So once you get your profile, if you're interested in it, you can check out Karen Parker Curry's little playlist on each of their profiles. And I just find it's really helpful because I understand my generator husband better. Like he has to go with his flow. And he is not a manifesting generator, so he does not initiate things. And in the past, I'd be like, "Well, I really wish he would do this. Would initiate this, would initiate that." And I realized, like, no, that's not his design. His design is to respond to things, not to initiate. Whereas I'm a manifesting generator, so I can initiate things. And boy, I initiate a lot of things, right, guys? So yeah, I think understanding myself is really helpful as well, and self-compassion. So as a sensitive soul, it could be really helpful for you to, see where your strengths are and where the potential pitfalls are, not weaknesses. But for example, in my design and the certain numbers that I have, um, the one thing that I felt kind of vulnerable about was overgiving. I tend to overgive when I'm on the dark side or the shadow side. And that's exactly what Dr. Gina said. She said mostly I'm on the high vibrational side of everything because she knows me and can feel the energy. However, she said she was guided to put that little blurb in there, watch out for the dark side. She didn't say it that way, but watch out for this tendency to overgive. And minutes before she said that, I said to her, the one thing that concerns me is sometimes I have a hard time saying no to my mom. And then she said that. She goes, well, that's interesting you say that because Source told me to tell you about this part. And so that was super helpful because then when I went to my mom, I really felt my body for a yes and a no, and not just go into this pattern of whatever she wants, I'll do, you know? And then, it's a little hard to not say yes automatically. I said no a number of times, very gently, the best I could. And you know what? She didn't freak out. I was like, okay. And I felt better for not saying yes when I was, feeling her will, right? And so this stuff can be really, really helpful, I think, in relationships. I'm looking forward to learning more. So, as far as a TOLPAKAN healing activation, I can only do a general one right now related to your human design, whatever it is. And what that is if you happen to have open or undefined centers, and if there's anybody else's stuff in there, let's go ahead and clear that out for you, okay? Now, the other thing too is, I love to do the resistance and willingness. That is a protocol that is, gosh, one of our top protocols still after X number of years of TOLPAKAN healing. As we evolve, it's still one of our main go-tos. Why? Because our resistance to anything is friction to what it is we desire to manifest. So if we can erase, dissolve, and uncreate the resistance to living our best lives according to our best imprint, design, whatever you want to call it, then that could really be helpful. So I'd love to offer that to you today. Optional whether you want to take that on or not. So we're going to do 2 activations. One is, well, let's do the second one first. So one is to get rid of the unwillingness and resistance to living whatever ideal soul blueprint that you have, the energetics. And number 2, let's go ahead and if you have any undefined centers, let's just remove other people's stuff from them right now. Ready? Okay, so let's get into the stillness. We'll rub our hands. This is optional. Get some heat going. Get some energy moving in the body. Relax. Close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. You can also keep your eyes open. You can focus on the inside of your body. Feel any movement happening in the body. It could be waves, tingles, heat, cold, vibrations, pulses, anything at all. Follow that movement wherever it goes. Follow the flow. And continue following the flow. I'm going to speak the TOLPAKAN Healing Directive. Let's have you repeat after me if you'd like to receive. I now command that any resistance and unwillingness to fully embody and express my design and enjoy health, happiness, and prosperity be healed and resolved permanently in the highest and best way, all directions of time and all timelines where I exist with ease, speed, and grace. Thank you. Let's do the second one. I now command that any undefined or open centers I may have in my human design blueprint be cleared of other people's stuff that I do not need in the highest and best way with ease, speed, and grace. All directions of time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so if your eyes are closed, you can certainly open them. Feel free to take a deep breath in just to kind of ground that in. And let me know how that feels in your body. Do you notice a shift in the energy body as we do those directives? Go ahead and put that in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation in the Light Medicine community, which is free to join. I'll post the link below. Love you so much. Thank you so much for joining me here. And until next time, remember to subscribe. Much love. Bye. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you resonate with this video, would love for you to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and perhaps share it with someone that you love. In the meantime, would love to connect with you more deeply in my Light Medicine community. It's a private community that is free to join, and that's where us sensitive souls get together. We learn, we support each other, we share stories, and it's a really beautiful, safe space to be in. So I'd love to connect with you there. I'll put the link below this video as well as this week's offerings. All right, we'll see you there. Much love.